Welcome to this explainer brought to you by Forge College. Let's just jump right in. If you've been following along in our Ethereum fundamentals track, you'll remember our previous lesson on querying account and program state. We learned how to ask the network what's going on, but now it's time to talk about how we keep our own actions perfectly in line when we want to make things happen. Today, we're unpacking a really crucial concept: nonces, ordering, and next steps.
Okay, let's dive into this technical blueprint. Here's what we're looking at today: context and the nonce, the strict gatekeeper metaphor, mechanics of nonce ordering, diagnosing gatekeeper errors, strategies for transaction recovery, and finally, our takeaways and next steps.
Starting off with Section 1, Context and the Nonce.
So before we can really understand the gritty internals of how the network processes your transactions, we have to understand transaction sequencing. Think of this as the traffic control system of the blockchain. And right at the heart of this system is the nonce. Basically, it's a per-account sequential counter that enforces a strict single-rider sequence for outgoing transactions. It's essentially a ticket number attached to your transaction. The rule here is absolute. Every single outgoing transaction from your account must carry the exact next expected nonce. You can't skip numbers, and you absolutely cannot reuse them. This is what guarantees that nobody can duplicate your transactions or spend your funds twice. Since the blockchain is basically a giant state machine, it needs absolute certainty about the chronological order of your operations.
Moving right along to Section 2, the strict gatekeeper metaphor.
To make this abstract mechanic crystal clear, let's use an analogy. Imagine the Ethereum network is a super rigid, highly bureaucratic gatekeeper working at a single-lane DMV queue. Your account is the ticket dispenser. Let's say you walk up and draw ticket number 10. You then sign and submit transaction stamps with tickets 10, 11, and 12 in quick succession. The gatekeeper happily takes number 10, stamps it, and lets it through. But 11 and 12? Well, the gatekeeper holds those pending. They will absolutely refuse to even look at ticket 11 until ticket 10 has safely passed through. There's no cutting the line, no VIP passes, and definitely no bribing the gatekeeper.
Which naturally brings us to a really important question. What happens when a ticket gets lost or stuck? Let's say ticket 10 just never arrives because your gas fee was too low. The gatekeeper is just standing there waiting indefinitely for 10, staring at ticket 11. This creates a gap in the network, and that gap stops literally everything else from progressing.
Section 3, Mechanics of Nonce Ordering.
So stepping away from our DMV metaphor for a second, how does the network actually track these sequences? At the protocol level, there are two crucial numbers at play. First, we have the on-chain executed nonce. These are the transactions that have successfully been included in a block. Done and dusted. Then we have the pending expected nonce. This is the node's local view, which includes all the transactions currently waiting in the mempool. When you query the network using your RPC provider, you're usually asking for this pending view. And this pending expected nonce is the ultimate decider. It dictates whether your newly submitted transaction gets accepted, queued up, or just outright rejected.
All right, Section 4, Diagnosing Gatekeeper Errors.
We have all been there. You hit send, get impatient, hit it twice, maybe a script fires off some extras, and suddenly your mempool is in complete chaos. So here is your diagnostic cheat sheet. If you get a nonce too low error, your transaction's nonce is already processed. It's like walking up to the DMV with an expired ticket. You're sent straight to the back of the line to draw the correct ticket. Do not keep resubmitting the old one. Next, if you see replacement transaction underpriced, it means a transaction with that exact same nonce already exists in the mempool, but your new fee isn't high enough for the network to swap it out. You need to bump your gas, usually by at least 10%. And finally, if you get nonce too high, you've got a gap. The gatekeeper is waiting for a missing lower number, so you have to submit that missing transaction to unblock your queue.
Section 5, Strategies for Transaction Recovery.
Okay, so you're stuck. The line is halted. How do we hack the queue and fix it? Remember, gaps block everything, so we have to resolve them. Strategy 1. Replace. You submit a new transaction with the exact same stuck nonce, but with a higher fee to push it through. Strategy 2. Submit a filler or cancel transaction. This is a brilliant little trick where you send a zero-value transaction to yourself at the missing nonce. It costs a tiny bit of gas, but it acts like a digital plunger, advancing the counter, clearing the blockage, and letting everything else flow. Strategy 3. Wait. This is the passive approach, and really only recommended if you're absolutely confident miners will eventually pick it up.
Now listen closely, because this rule is absolutely non-negotiable. Changing the nonce or gas parameters requires re-signing the transaction. You can't just edit the text of a pending payload and resubmit it. If you change even a single digit of the gas fee or the nonce without regenerating your digital signature, the network will instantly recognize the invalid signature and reject it. You have to create and sign a brand new transaction for any of these recovery hacks to actually work.
And finally, Section 6, Takeaways and Next Steps.
Let's bring all this together. After navigating the bureaucratic nightmare of our mempool gatekeeper, the golden rule is this: eventual ordering is deterministic from the account's point of view. Whoever controls the signing key controls the ticket sequence. And this brilliantly illustrates that nonce management is entirely on you. The mempool and the miners don't coordinate your tickets. They just enforce the sequence you hand them. You are completely in the driver's seat.
To gear up for our next lesson, here's your homework. First, practice mapping those RPC error messages to your decision flows. Second, think about the chaos of the mempool. How do node replacement policies actually influence which transactions miners choose? And third, consider how pending nonces might actually vary across different nodes around the world at any given second. It's a fascinating puzzle that we're going to solve next time. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer brought to you by Forge College. Make sure to visit forge.college to dive even deeper into the incredible world of Web3. See you next time.